What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the RTB Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Moore. Hope you are doing well whenever you are listening to this one. Going to talk about Chicago. From the Xfinity Series race to the Cup race to all the drama, fuel strategy from Bubba Wallace versus Alex Bowman to the big wreck with car so far, a bunch of other cars. From Joe Nagano, Ross Chastain, I saw Chase Elliott and Kakalege had a disagreement there on the racetrack. Shane Van Gisbergen gets the win, his second of the season. From the in-season tournament matchups to the playoff standings to the future of Chicago street race. We're going to cover it all. But we talk about the Xfinity Series race. Shane Van Gisbergen gets the win. It is his second time winning the Xfinity Series race. Alright, it's his second time winning the Xfinity Series race at Chicago. Beat his teammate, Connor Zilisch. Late race restart. Zilisch on older tires on the inside. Shane Van Gisbergen on the outside on newer tires. They restart coming out turn 12. The restart zone was before turn 12. Zilisch clears Shane. Doesn't block or come up in front of Shane. Gives Shane a lane. Shane drives in there really deep side by side. And almost kind of drives in so deep where he kind of squeezes and kind of forces Zilisch to kind of drive almost himself into the wall. Didn't really give Zilisch space. It was kind of surprising to see that from Shane. A guy I think kind of talks about trying to race clean in NASCAR. I know Zilisch was not happy about it. Shane was ended up finishing out those final 2 laps. There was times where Zilisch was close to Shane, but just Shane was really good at these certain turns. Zilisch was better here. Didn't really matter for Zilisch. Shane went on to win. Congrats to him. I know Connor was not upset about it. He was upset about it. I'm not sure why he said. Connor Zilisch was upset about it. But Connor just said, I'm paraphrasing that, he just will keep that in the back of his mind. This is how Shane raced him. So he'll know for next week when they race in Sonoma, if a situation like this comes up, that he'll just race Shane the same way. I just feel like overall the incident, I would definitely say it was maybe a little bit of a dirty move, but Shane was being aggressive, going for the win. I just think maybe Zilisch wasn't aggressive enough. He kind of let Shane use him up there. I think if he really, I guess, I don't know, I'm not saying he didn't want it. I think he wanted it bad. He was upset. But I think there was a chance there, like I said there, where Connor could have cleared up in front of Shane and didn't really give Shane a lane. He didn't do that. So I'm not sure what, Connor was thinking there. Maybe he wanted to race it out there clean with Shane. But Shane didn't really give him that same respect back, I feel like, there. So we'll see when this goes down the line there. We'll see how they race at Sonoma. Should be fun to follow that one along next week. Our top 10 from this race was first Shane Van Gisbergen, second Connor Zilisch, third Sheldon Creed, fourth Austin Hill, fifth Nick Sanchez, sixth Jesse Love, seventh Sammy Smith, eighth Sam Mayer, ninth Austin Green, and 10th Brendan Poole. Stage 1 won to Shane Van Gisbergen. Stage 2 was won by Sheldon Creed. Shane led the most laps at 27 laps. Connor led the second most laps at 11. And Sheldon Creed led the third most laps at 9 laps. Overall, the race isn't fresh in my mind, but I did enjoy it. I was watching it during my 4th of July, a little hangout with family, so that was kind of fun to watch it with them. Looking forward to seeing. The race was an hour and 51 minutes. But looking forward to seeing how this race, what the future of this, not really what the future of this race looks like, but, what's the future between Shane Van Gisbergen and Connor Zilisch. Will be fun to follow that one along. Next weekend we go to Sonoma, when they're both racing in the Xfinity Series race, and both in the Junior Motorsports cars. But I will say, I did enjoy their paint schemes. Both look really dang good with the WeatherTech and Red Bull. Paint schemes look pretty freaking sick. Now on to the Cup race. Guys, this Cup race, guys, there's just so much in this race. I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to do a good enough job to really break this down, race as a whole. I'm really just have to break down parts of it that then led us to the finish of this race. Holy crap. This had everything. But the race, some stats from it. There were 7 cautions for 15 laps. The race was 2 hours and 28 minutes. There were 6 lead changes in this race. This was race 19 of 36-point races. Shane Van Gisbergen gets the win. This is his 2nd win this season in the Cup Series. This is his 4th win on the Chicago street race between Xfinity and Cup. There's only been 6 races here, so he's won the majority of the races here by just one guy. That's really impressive. But also, SVG becomes the winningest foreign-born driver in the NASCAR Cup Series history with 3 victories. I think Marcus Ambrose, another guy that came from the Australian Supercar Series, won 2 races. Juan Pablo Montoya also won 2. Those are the only ones I know of that were foreign that I can remember winning 2 races at least, or being right there. So already, Shane, this is his first full-time year, already making history. So, look, man, with how many road courses, I mean, I'm not going to lie, if we were racing street courses back when Marcus Ambrose and Juan Pablo Montoya were racing, they probably would have had more than 2 wins. But due to the fact that there was only 2 races, due to the fact there was only 2 road courses at the time when they were racing, it didn't really give them a chance. So I think you have to kind of put an asterisk next to this one, because when it comes to Shane, he's a road course specialist. So having 6 road courses gives him an opportunity to win multiple races. It gives him really a chance, especially when you have a variety of road courses, especially when you have a street course race, which Shane did a lot of that racing back home in New Zealand in the Australian Supercar Series. But congrats to Shane. Most dominant guy now. Well, not most dominant guy now, but he was dominant in this race. Didn't matter the strategy. Everything worked out where he was the guy to beat. He made passes. I felt like tires mattered. He maximized having new tires. Just an impressive drive. There was times where he ended up, making passes. It wasn't like he was always in the front row every restart. He had to make passes. And it was impressive to watch him make passes. Well, now he has 2 wins. The most someone's won this season is 3. So he has a chance next week and going to Sonoma for the first time to win 3 races this season, all on road courses. These are important stage points. Do I expect Shane Van Gisbergen to compete for a championship? No. But if he can get through the round 16, he has a chance in the Charlotte Roval. If he gets to the round 12 where there's a Charlotte Roval, he has a chance there to maybe, compete for that win and then move on to the round of 8. So there's a possibility that he could really be a guy that could really shake up the playoffs. Maybe take away a spot that should have been to a guy that was probably more or better than him during the season. Look, man, people probably don't like the fact that he is able, he was 30 plus in points, and now he's, top 16 and more. But, don't hate Shane. Shane's just out there racing. That's why he was hired. He was hired to win these type of races. He was hired to win these road course races. All you can do is hate NASCAR for the playoff format that they allow drivers like Shane that are only good at one form of track right now, at least in his career, to come on here and win races and take out a playoff spot. But congrats to Shane. He deserves it because it's impressive what he can do. He's an incredibly talented race car driver, and it's fun that he's in NASCAR showing off his talent. Now, I want to talk about the end of this race. Cody Ware crashed into the tire barriers with 2 laps to go. Turn 6 tire barriers. Hard. Now, we didn't know how hard it was until after the race, because when TNT showed it on TV, it was just him and the tire barriers. Well, after the fact, it was a massive wreck. Blew a brake rotor. Hard. He was over 100 mile an hour when he hit that freaking tire barrier. Holy crap. It was scary. He was okay, though. But NASCAR had a chance to throw the yellow before the white flag and give us a restart, right? But NASCAR never threw it, so what ended up happening is the yellow came out on the white flag. We didn't get a green flag finish. Holy crap! And it was frustrating because guess what? Last year, Kyle Larson on the same turn 6, crashed into the same tire barriers really, really hard in the rain, and NASCAR took them 3 seconds to throw the caution for him. Well, this time, it took him 34 seconds. From the time that Cody Ware hit the tire barriers, it took NASCAR 34 seconds to throw the yellow. But NASCAR's reasoning, here's our reasoning. NASCAR did see a car in the barriers, but did not know how hard Ware hit. They thought maybe he could back up like Larson did last year. So they were holding it to see if they had known that Ware impact severity, to know the Ware impact severity. Would have thrown the yellow earlier. This is what frustrates me because, okay, you don't know. You should know. I saw a freaking video of their control hauler. They have all these cameras and they can adjust. You and NASCAR should know how hard Ware hit right there. You have so many people in that freaking NASCAR control building. Well, guess what? If Ware hit really hard, let's say he's injuring, hurt bad. Well, now there's 30 seconds that are going by, and let's say Ware needs help. He needs someone to get to him. And you're having live race cars come by him. It's freaking ridiculous, guys. There's no excuses for this. It's embarrassing as a sport that you're still having issues like this, inconsistencies. Larson, it took him 3 seconds for that yellow to come out. And now this year, it took him 34 seconds. It's unacceptable. It's embarrassing. It's not a good look for your sport. Same thing, guess what? In this same freaking race, Josh Berry, he freaking crashes, damage in the front of his car. Guess what? Car's coming by there. Well, it takes NASCAR a whole other lap for the field to come by Berry, for them to throw the yellow again. It took him a whole lap. That's unacceptable as well. You wait a whole lap when a car's just sitting there because you're like, oh, I think hopefully he can get going. Hopefully Ware can get moving. That's not how it should work. Because guess what? There's times on an oval track where a car smacks the wall, just grazes the freaking wall, and boom, NASCAR throws a caution. We should start. Guess what? At Pocono, next year at Pocono, if a car just spins out by itself, it's a 2.5 mile track. NASCAR should not throw a yellow until we know the car can't move. We should start treating ovals like road courses. Especially these big ovals. Because it's getting ridiculous with the way NASCAR is going with these. Now, we talk about this cup race from a whole. Stage 1 was really fun to watch. We thought, Shane was going to be the best guy that got to beat. And he was. He didn't win this race. But Michael McDowell gave him a run for his money. Michael McDowell won Stage 1. Led all the laps. Controlled the entire race. Shane was close there early in Stage 1. But then he ended up falling back, like a second back. And then Shane, we had guys that didn't want to get stage points. They short pit. Shane did that. Shane went against Bruin. I think Shane finished 9th. And McDowell won Stage 1. And then we go to Stage 2. But hold on. I got to backtrack here. Another incident in Stage 1 we got to talk about. A massive crash on lap 3. Carson Hocevar clips the turn 10 inside wall, and then he smacks the outside wall, breaks and totaling, and his car's all over the freaking place. And he can't really control it, and then he gets sideways, and then here comes cars. It's kind of a blinding turn, the way that turn before, turn 9 is. They just can't, they're coming with so much speed, they can't really see over that turn. They're sitting so low. So a bunch of cars pile into Carson Hocevar, and they can't slow down fast enough. Brad Keselowski, Austin Dillon, Ty Gilliland, Will Brown, Daniel Suarez, Riley Herbst. A lot of those cars, they were all torn up. Some cars were able to continue, but they really weren't competitive anymore. And really, I just think this overall incident was maybe Hocevar being a little too aggressive or just not realizing how close he was to the wall. Because I'm not a race car driver. I'm not trying to tell us or tell anyone that I know what the frick Carson was doing in that race car and what he saw and, what all happened there for him. But that's just looked like maybe he just didn't know how close he was to that inside wall, and it clipped him, and he hit the outside wall hard. I know drivers were not happy about Hocevar because of that. Just his, the way he was, he just caused a bunch of guys to get torn up because of a mistake early in the race. So really disappointing that, that took out Brad. I had Hocevar winning the regular season championship, not regular season championship. I had Hocevar winning the in-season tournament, so he was out. Brad was racing Ty Dillon. He was done now. So, big in-season tournament implications. There was a red flag for that. Stage 1 here. Let's see some of my notes. The 48 spun out. The 20 had a too fast entering pit stop mistake. Bunch of different cars had spins. I don't know. Just a lot of mistakes. I think Kyle Busch also had a penalty there. I think he went through too many pit boxes. I don't know what part that was in the race. But then stage 2, so there was like 9 cars. Shane finished 10th, so the 9 cars. So I'm trying to go back to where. So I would say Michael McDowell, Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe, Ryan Preece, Ross Chastain. There was a couple guys. A lot of the guys there's a majority of the guys that got stage points in stage 1 that stayed out. So then you saw like Shane Van Gisbergen, AJ Allmendinger, and Ty Gibbs that actually pitted before stage 1 with those newer tires kind of battle. And they were trying to pass guys on old tires versus the new tires. That was really fun to watch. It was kind of like a 2-car breakaway. I'm trying to think what 2-car breakaway would have been. I mean, I'm all over the place with these ones, guys. I guess I'm not sure. Oh, yes, it was 2-car breakaway. I think it was from the 71 and the 45 kind of had a 2-car breakaway in stage 2. And then, like I already brought up early in this race, we saw the Josh Berry incident where he wrecked in turn 7. And then NASCAR didn't throw the caution until all the cars came back the whole way back around. Where Josh Berry is sitting on there's a little exit opening in the wall. NASCAR waited for all the cars to come by him again. I think they also all went by pit road, so NASCAR gave all these teams a chance to pit before NASCAR threw the yellow for a caution that should have been a caution way before that. Right when Josh Berry hit the wall and destroyed the front of his car. Just terrible. And that's where it all went downhill. The 19 to 45 were the only ones to pit before that caution came out for Josh Berry. But then we saw Michael McDowell. He pitted, but said his throttle was sticking. So you hit the gas and the throttle would kind of stick. And he always did like a weird burnout. But, what ended up happening there is he couldn't continue. They had to go down in the garage and fix it. And I think they said he was still running. I'm not sure. I know he finished outside the top. I'm not sure where he finished. If I go the whole way back to see where he finished. Where did he finish? Finished 32nd, outside the top 30. I think he was running, but I don't think he finished the race because of that. Because I don't really know if they fixed it. I have to check that. But that really ended. Really, I thought the only competition SVG had was Michael McDowell. But once he got taken out, it was really just Shane's race to lose. We did see, some times there, Allmendinger was kind of challenging SVG there. All right, he wasn't really challenging him, but he was close by. Same thing with Ty Gibbs. But none of those guys ever got close. I do feel like it was really hard to pass unless you had a tire advantage. If you had newer tires, you could make passes. But if you were on the same tires as the leader, you weren't passing them. It was just, there's a lot of good braking zones. There's these long sections, long straightaways in the hard braking zones. But there's also a lot of tight areas that don't really allow room for passing. So that was the one disappointing thing about the race in general. When also in this race, there was a 2-stop strategy. There was a 1-stop strategy where you pit at the end of stage 1, the end of stage 2. You don't pit at all in stage 3. And then there was ones like Reddick and McDowell were trying to do where they pit, midway through stage 2, hoping for a caution there, and then they don't stay out at all. They don't pit again, and they're going to have a tire deficit, but they'll have track position. But they also have to save fuel. So there was a lot of strategy all over this place, guys, that made it really, I guess, difficult for me to, keep up with. I'm never really good at strategy. I took a lot of notes here, the 88 car, I have the 88 car pits, I think, before the stage 2 ended. Same thing was the 54 and the 22 and the 4 all pitted before the stage 2 ended, which then led to Ryan Blaney he won stage 2, but then he had to pit, and then, because he sacrificed that stage point, but that's an important playoff point. Winning a stage gets you one playoff point. He sacrificed track position for stage 3, where he had to start to the rear of the field because of the way that pit stops work. And yeah, it was fun, and the strategy made it really interesting, fun to follow along. And then really the way stage 3 started was a 2-car breakaway with Chase Briscoe, Tyler Reddick, and then Shane had to pass a couple cars to get up to third. I think he passed Denny Hamlin, I think he passed Ty Gibbs as well. That was fun to watch Shane pass those guys. And then that was where it kind of got interesting. The 48 pits with 20 laps to go. The SVG ended up passing. SVG ends up passing at 19 with 16 to go. But then a caution comes out right after that due to a medical emergency. The medical emergency was due to, I guess, a fan needed help. But they had to drive an ambulance across the racetrack. Well, you can't do that when there's live cars. So they had to throw a yellow for that. And that's probably just more due to the structure of the way the track is, and maybe you can't have an ambulance here in that area where the fan needed help. So hopefully the fan is okay. I'm not sure what he needed help with, what the emergency, how severe it was. But hopefully that fan is okay. And then that led to a interesting, some pit strategy calls. But then after that, this is where mayhem took over, I guess you could say. But then we have a restart with around 13 to go, and it gets pretty wild. SVG takes the lead, though. But then we have the one car going to the tire barriers due to the fact that the two locked up the brakes into turn 1. It was kind of a bowling ball effect in there. They were bowling in there. What ended up happening is then, one gets caught in the tire barriers but keeps going. Well, the one then thinks the 22 wrecked him. So then the one takes out the 22, which then also takes out the 47 car. And they actually, the one in the 22 car had a nice little argument, little discussion. Joey was very vocal. There's a video of it. He's very mad. And I guess Ross did admit that he did wreck Joey, but Ross thought Joey wrecked him. Well, they're going all through that, and the 47 got destroyed there, broke a totaling, and he was trying to turn around. What ended up happening, or what he ended up doing, which I guess was good, is he could have tried to turn around and drive that thing back. There was one of the totalings was so smashed the wheel wasn't even touching the ground. There was an opening in the wall where he drove into, so the race stayed green. But then the 2 car, because he was destroyed, because he blew turn 1, he was exiting turn 6, got past there, but he was stalled out. But then we get another restart with SVG and Ty Gibbs. SVG clears, and that's where we have the mayhem of Bubba Wallace versus Alex Bowman. These two are going at it side by side in these turns. It looked like each guy was squeezing each other in the wall, not giving people room, not giving themselves room. I mean, it was like bumper tap. You get retaliation. I'm gonna retaliate you back. Each turn, like half a lap. And he's tight. There's just 2 walls. Oh my gosh, it was awesome. It was entertaining as crap. But then it ended up all being settled. They go through turn 1 and 2. I think, Alex felt like he got shipped by Bubba in turn 12. So then going through turn 1, they are making contact through this entire process. But then they go through turn 2, and Bubba kind of clears himself. But Alex is on his bumper, and he's on his bumper. Bubba gets loose, spins out because of that. Alex didn't give him a break. And now it's like, oh boy. Well, guess what? Now there's going to be beef. These two were also racing in the in-season tournament, so they were racing for their spot in the round of 8. A lot happened there. Well, there was a quote here from Zach Sterlooney. I think that's his last name. I apologize if that's not how to pronounce your last name. This was a quote from both guys. I wish I would have talked to him before all my interviews. He thought I was crossing him over. Wallace then said, fun with the 48, no love lost, all good. So really, I saw the clip, people thought they were going to be a fisticuffs altercation, but it never came true. And then they ended up having a little altercation, I guess, in the pit area, and it was all, like, fun. But there was a whole bunch of fans all around and, like, telling them to fight and all this kind of stuff or whatever. But no, it looked like they were all cool. I mean, it looks like they were just racing for fun. I mean, not racing for fun, but it looked like they were just racing, you know? Just having fun out there, using each other up. You know, Bowman's going to move on. Bubba's not. You know, a lot of fans may be upset. You know, I guess for Bubba's sake, I mean, he could have probably just got passed by Bowman and, you know, salvaged the top 10 day, probably. Would have been good for his playoffs, you know, situation. I'm not sure where he's at in the playoffs right at this moment when I'm watching this. Now, I do know Bubba Wallace was trending number one because, you know, you'll have your fans that don't like Bubba or support Bubba, and, you know, you'll just have a bunch of hateful, you know, posts about Bubba, you know, the way he acted, the way he raced, you know, whatnot. So a lot of negatives came from this whole incident, but from it sounds like the two drivers, it was all fun. It was just hard racing, and they're going to move on. I don't think this is going to be something that's going to move on in the Sonoma, but could be wrong. But they were smiling after having a little discussion, and now it's moving on. But then as we continue in this race that we already talked about with the Cody Ware situation, Shane ended up just kind of setting sail. I forget who was second. Who finished second in this race? Just so I don't lose track. Ty Gibbs. Yeah. I guess I would say that Tyler Reddick was making passes on guys that had older tires, but also he lost some track position and had to pass guys with newer tires. I felt like if there was 5 more laps in this race that Ty Gibbs would have got to SVG. But also, we don't know if SVG was kind of saving the stuff or whatnot. So, yeah. Congrats to SVG. I already talked about the Cody Ware situation. I'm not going to go through that again. There was a caution. The caution came out under the yellow flag. The caution came out under the white flag on the last lap because Cody was stuck in the tire barriers. NASCAR thought he could have got out of the tire barriers, but they didn't see the replay until after the caution. And the race was official. Shane Van Gisbergen gets the win. Let's run through our overall finishers. Shane Van Gisbergen first. Second, Ty Gibbs. Third, Tyler Reddick. Fourth, Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin finishes fourth on a road course. This is Denny Hamlin's 5th top 10 in the last 9 Cup Series races. Denny Hamlin is just showing consistency. And really good consistency. He's competing for that regular season championship. And I know William Byron had issues. Yeah, William Byron finished last in this race. He had issues early. Chase Elliott had issues too. I don't know where he finished. He finished 16th, so not a terrible day. So this is a big day for Denny. Finishing, you know, top 5 and recording his 5th top 10 in 9 races. Denny Hamlin, 44 years old. That doesn't mean anything to Denny Hamlin because he's still doing this thing. 5th, Kyle Busch. 5th place for Kyle Busch. We could talk about all the bad races for Kyle Busch, but the top 5 finishes is beautiful to see. So congrats to him. 6th, Eddie Allmendinger. Not surprising for a 6th place for him. Another guy that's trying to make the playoffs on points there for now. 6th place at a road course, not surprising. He's one of the best at road courses in this sport right now. 7th place, Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece. Guess what? This is Ryan Preece's 6th top 10 and 9 races. Ryan Preece is the guy right now for RFK. He seems the most consistent. He's just the most consistent, you know. Brad's showing speed, Busch is showing speed, but Preece is the one putting down those top 10 finishes. Guess what? Preece is only minus 3 points outside the top 16 in points right now to make the playoffs. And look, man, there's a couple of races. You know, there's Iowa and Richmond coming up. 2 short tracks. Richmond could be the place that maybe, you know, RFK's been fast at Richmond. Could that be a place that Ryan Preece could maybe get a win? Or have another good points day? Ryan Preece is impressive. That 3-car team now, Ryan Preece didn't have that great of a showing last year in Stewart-Haas. No one really knew what to take from all of Ryan Preece, but he is showing that he belongs in the Cup Series. It's impressive to see what he's doing, especially on a street course, a freaking street course. Ryan Preece's background is, late mile racing on short tracks. So impressive to see what he's doing in the Cup Series against the best in the world. All right, now let's rapid fire some here. Alex Bowman, another top in the finish, continues to show that consistency. 9th, Austin Hill. 10th, Ross Chastain. 11th, Joey Logano. Those two had a nice little beef there. 12th, Ryan Blaney. 13th, Kyle Larson. 14th, Zane Smith. 15th, John Hunter-Nemechek. 16th, Chase Elliott. 17th, Riley Herbst. 18th, Chris Buescher. 19th, Catherine Legge. She out-qualified Corey Heim to make the race, and coming home with a top 20 finish in that car is impressive. In that 78 Live Fast car, that's impressive. Now, she has a solid background in road racing. IndyCar, sports car series, that's what she does. So I think her skill set in that allowed her to finish really well. So really impressive. I know Catherine Legge has gotten a lot of hate for the way, some of the mistakes she's made, and I would agree that I've been a little hard on her, too, just because of that. But it's really cool to see her finish well in this race. I know she had a little incident there with Chase Elliott, but top 20 in the Cup Series in your first time at the Chicago Street Course race in that, in this race is impressive. Ty Dillon, 20th. He advanced to the in-season tournament. He advances to the round of 8 in the in-season tournament because of Brown getting wrecked out early in stage 1, so he's moving on. 21st, Josh Bilicki. That 66 car made it in. Wow. That 66 car made it into the race, and he finished 21st. That's awesome. Justin Haley, 22nd. 23rd, Chase Briscoe. 24th, Christopher Bell. 25th, Aaron Jones. 26th, Cody Ware. And then 27th, Austin Cindric. 28th, Bubba Wallace. 29th, Daniel Suarez. 30th, Noah Gragson. 31st, Ricky Stenhouse. 32nd, Michael McDowell. 33rd, Cole Custer. 34th, Josh Berry. 35th, Carson Hocevar. 36th, Austin Dillon. 37th, Brad Keselowski. 38th, Todd Gilliland. 39th, Will Brown. And 40th, William Byron. All those guys were all involved in accidents that led to their finishes today. Now let's move on to the playoff standings. With now 7 races left until the playoffs, 12 winners. SVG has now 2 wins. He's currently 4th in the playoff standings with 2 wins. Tyler Reddick is plus 142 to the cut line. Alex Bowman plus 39. Chris Buescher plus 35. Bubba Wallace only plus 3 now. And now below the cut line, Ryan Preece minus 3. AJ Allmendinger minus 44. Kyle Busch minus 47 and 19th. And then Eric Jones minus 51 in 20th. I'll say again, Reddick is sitting pretty well. But Bowman, Buescher, and Wallace, especially Wallace, next weekend Wallace could be out. A good rebound though for Chris Buescher. Didn't had issues. He had an electrical issue or throttle issue, but was able to salvage a solid day to stay plus 30 above that cut line. So that's a great performance by that team, a gritty performance. But Wallace, battling for Alex Bowman, Bubba Wallace, I think cost himself a lot of points. He could have just let Alex Bowman pass him, but instead he wanted to race hard with Bowman, and he kind of paid for that. So not great for Wallace. Only plus 3. Ryan Preece, like I already talked about in this podcast, only being minus 3 right now is impressive. He's right there, man. He's right there to pull himself in. First year at RFK, that would be awesome. That's really impressive. But then from 18th to the whole way down on, I would say there's still a lot of racing left for AJ and Busch and Eric Jones to point themselves in with the 7 races, but they got to have a lot to happen in front of them to get in there. I think they're all thinking win. You also got to think about Carson Hocevar, who's outside the top 20 now. Also, Gibbs and Keselowski, guys that have shown speed, they're going to need wins as well. So, look, man, 7 races left. 1 less road course. 1 racer, 1 less race to capitalize on your day and try to have a good performance. It's going to continue to get more and more intense the less and less races we have to the playoffs for these guys that need to get into that top 16. Gonna be fun though. Let's go. Moving on to the end of the season tournament. It's official. Carts Hosvar is no longer in the tournament. He's eliminated. He was like, I gotta win, so my bracket is screwed. The only guy I have left is Gibbs, but I only have Gibbs going to the semifinals. The rest of the bracket is toast. Thrown in the trash. It was burned. It blew up last week like everyone else's. But Ty Dillon versus Bowman in the round of 8. John Hernandez and Eric Jones, teammates in the round of 8 as well. And then on the other half, it'll be Ty Gibbs and Zane Smith in the round of 8. And then Ryan Priest and Tyler Rennick in the round of 8 going to Sonoma. Impressive. Gibbs got by, not Ty, well, Gibbs got by Allmendinger. Priest got by Gregson. Rennick got by Hosovar. Ty Dillon got by Keselowski. Bowman got by Wallace. Nemechek got by Elliott. I know Elliott had some damage due to, I think it was the Bubba Wallace spin earlier in the race. That probably cost some speed on his car. Eric Jones got by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I would say when it comes to Sonoma, Dillon and Bowman, I think you would choose Bowman because he's showing the most consistent speed, but it seems like Ty Dillon Ty Dillon hasn't really had to do much. His competitors get in wrecks, and that's how he advances. Nemechek and Jones, I don't know. Both guys have shown really speed. I'm going to give the nod to Nemechek. I think he's shown a little bit more speed on the road courses. That's just my opinion. And then Gibbs and Smith. For right now, Gibbs is showing the most speed on these road courses. So give me Gibbs. And then Priest and Rennick, I'm going to go Rennick. It's not really much of a debate for now because Rennick, finished third. Gibbs finished second in this race. But currently right now, the in-season tournament, the final 8, no driver this season has won a race. So that just shows you how crazy this season has been. That no driver has won a race this season that's in this final 8. Which just shows how crazy this in-season tournament has been. But it all started in Atlanta. Looking forward to see how all this stuff plays out after Sonoma, and we'll find out who our semifinalists will be. But these teams are one step closer to that $1 million. Will be fun to watch. Now, to wrap up the playoffs, not the playoffs, guys. Guys, I couldn't tell you how many times in this podcast that I've said the complete on the wrong thing or whatever, just misspoke. Gets me so frustrated. But the Chicago street race, guys. Oh, we're also going to talk about the TNT broadcast. The Chicago street race, guys. What's the future going to look like? I would think that they're not going to come back here next year, but it sounds like, according to the Chicago Loop Alliance Press and Michael Edwards, here's a quote: We would love NASCAR to see NASCAR come back. I think we're all sort of figure out how to gain advantage from it and to partake in it and to make business from it. It would be great to have it come back. So Michael Edwards believes and actually would love to see NASCAR come back. They think it's good for the Chicago area. Denny Hamlin, a team owner, actually suggests that they should also bring the Chicago street race back, but also bring the Chicagoland Speedway back, which is a track that's near the city. Which, I don't know if that would really, it could totally work, but then I feel like you would have majority of your fans either choose over the Chicagoland Speedway track or the Chicago street race track. I don't know, but I know a lot of NASCAR hardcore fans want that Chicagoland Speedway back because I think it would be an incredible race there with how worn out the surface is and how well this car races on the big ovals. But look, I enjoy this event. I enjoy this Chicago street race. It's been really entertaining. The amount of stuff I talked about in this podcast, I think that just tells you how much I think it's worth maybe bringing back the Chicago street race. But we will see what the future looks like. But I think it has been a success. It looked like it was a great turnout in today's race. A lot of fans there. Good weather. The weather could have been a factor, but it never became a factor in this race. But yeah, hopefully this is not the last time we see the Chicago street race. But we will see. Now, to finish this off, guys, we got to talk about TNT. I was hoping not to talk about TNT until the fourth race, their fifth race, the final race of their broadcast. But TNT, I got to say, guys, they kind of looked like Fox to me. There was a lot of missed camera angles where they missed things. It was like there was times where Dale Earnhardt Jr. was talking about something that the camera was showing, but then he was still talking about that thing going on, but the camera wasn't showing what he was talking about. So it was really frustrating. There was battles going on where the Alex Bowman and Bubba Wallace incident, where Bubba Wallace got spun. We didn't know he got spun until they showed us the camera angle. But they were showing us battle, but they just missed the camera angles. Just didn't line up. Steve Letarte was yelling, he got spun, but we didn't see that he got spun until the camera pinged there. I thought the energy was still good. I thought the broadcast was overall good. But I didn't like, SVG wins the race, but then SVG is doing his burnouts under caution. It's split screen, so we're seeing the burnouts, but there's no commentary to it. Yeah, I don't know, guys. It was still better than Fox because I think they did a great job with all the strategy stuff and breaking all that down with Steve Letarte. The race broadcast was still solid, but just some of the camera angles, they kind of missed things in this race that were a little disappointing. So I will say it was a little disappointing. But hopefully they can maybe clean some of that up going into Sonoma, another road course race, but we'll see. That was our thoughts on that thing, guys. Overall, that's a podcast. Looking forward to, I got a lot of content, our videos, Daniel Suarez, lawsuit stuff I got to edit and post to you guys, so that's how it'll come out. But then I'm looking forward to Sonoma. But besides that, guys, like I always said, I hope you guys enjoy the podcast, and I'll see you next weekend after Sonoma, baby. Have a good week. Let's go.